we urge you, do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on life. Anything is possible. You are going somewhere to happen one day. And when the day winds down, when you need a reliable arm of information and entertainment, welcome home to CEMTV. It's all about you.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to July, still the third day here in the month of July 2026, and you are on CEMTV News Surgery. This morning, my name is Bariswa Christian Winger. I'll be bringing you everything happening around the world and also bringing Nigeria to your doorstep. I'm not doing this alone today. I have my handsome young men or young colleagues here with me. Okay, by my left, I start with Mr. Francis. Good morning to you, Mr. Francis.
Good morning, Bariswa Christian, and good morning to you. It's 3 days already gone into the second half of the year 2026, and we are grateful. Thanks for joining us.
All right, over to Mr. M.I., the king of dabs, we call him Black Diamond. Good morning to you, Mr. M.I.
A very beautiful morning, and should I say a rainy or wet Friday?
Ooh, that.
Just
Okay.
to make the ground, to soften the ground,
Yeah.
and give us soft landing. Welcome. You're not looking as if the cold is affecting any of you.
Nah.
All right.
Okay.
So,
and- go
sorry,
ahead.
my motivational for today.
Yeah.
Silence is still a vote. So whether you say I want to be part active or to be passive, you've made a choice. So when you keep quiet, you're giving room to only the thieves in the room to steal your votes. The choice is yours.
All right, and don't forget today's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I keep saying that. Even if Mr. Francis doesn't support that, he says we walk every day, and he doesn't see the
Who
need to
wouldn't
celebrate
support
Friday.
it when our chairman supports it?
He endorsed it with his full chest. And this morning on News Surgery, you have Dr. Edward Ammonia Banigo with us. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and today we will be looking majorly at voter apathy versus education. How prepared are Nigeria voters? I'll bring you in on that.
All right.
Let's get to hear your say. What do you say?
Okay. Yes, election is around the corner. We're in another election cycle, so the preparation is upcoming, going gradually. But I think anytime from now it will peak. Yes, as the campaign starts, of course, the noise we'll start hearing the noise from all angles.
All right, I'd love to ask you this put together. The valid choice of the electorate, leadership, qualification, elites, state capture versus rule of law towards resolving our development challenges. What can you educate us about this? What can you tell us this morning in News Surgery?
Well, the whole essence of democracy is to ensure development. Development is at the heart of democracy. That is why even the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 states clearly that the security and welfare of the people are the core mandate of government, and government derives its power from the people. So if we as Nigerians, or if Nigerians stay docile, certainly there will be a vacuum, and what will happen? The elite will capture the state for their own good. So that is why the National Orientation Agency insists that irrespective of the narrative we get, oh, your vote will not count, we must come out to ensure that we participate, vote, and ensure that nobody captures the state. Because if that is done, then the nation itself is doomed. Because nobody captures anything for your own good. He will capture it for his own good or for the good of his group. So certainly state capture, well, in Africa or most developing country, that's more or less like the tendency. But in Nigeria, we are saying that Nigeria is so big and diverse that for a group to capture the state, the Niger state, it will be too dangerous for our own development.
A place where Nigerians don't believe the election is transparent. What would you say to them?
Yes, no election. Most election generally, even in developed worlds, to have their own challenges. But I think the intensity in Nigeria is great. Perhaps that's where people will get concerned. But you see, democracy is not a dash, 100-meter dash. It's a gradual, it's a marathon. You know, the problem we have here is that we try sometime and the people go back. You know, for example, if you check from 1999, the voter turnout
Okay.
had been high, was high in 1999 to about I think 60, 57% or so. But if you check that of the last election, it's about 20-something%.
So what's the reason behind that?
Because maybe in 1999 the enthusiasm was there. Maybe democracy didn't deliver as expected, so people now went back to into their shells, you know. But that's not the way it should be, because they say try and try again. If you try and it didn't work, come up with a more strategy to ensure that next outing is better. But in the it's like in Nigeria, we just want instant noodle, immediate result. If you try it, if it doesn't work, man, there's no point trying again. But if we do that, if we continue to do that, you know, you see that the rate of voter turnout will be lower and lower. And at the end of the day, that tends to what this state capture you're talking about. That tends to what I think Mitchell called the iron law of oligarchy, where only a few will now capture the state, manipulate it to their own benefit. So I want to urge Nigerians, you know, yes, the electoral system is not perfect the way we want it, but we should not give room for those who want to manipulate to keep on driving us out. Because like in economics, that's what they call the Gresham law of money, or something. Gresham law.
Okay.
But it concerns money, you know. Bad money drives away good money from circulation.
Ooh.
Yes. In politics too, bad people drives away good people from circulation. But we shouldn't allow that to happen. If we allow the political space, if we yield it to bad people, then what we'll get is lamentation. Like we are lamenting now. If you go to the social media, everybody's lamenting. But people do not actually want to do the hard work of coming, holding leaders accountable and accountable for their actions. Because that is the only way we can turn around things. Being active in the social media only cannot. And like I've argued elsewhere, you know, we are becoming too enlightened, but in terms of mobilization, we are dropping. You know, people are aware that things are going bad, but are not really ready to change things.
So what could be the reason for people not getting ready to make the changes?
Maybe because people, social media itself, you know, is also part of it. You know, before,
Also?
yes, before, because with social media, you just stay back at home, scroll through, read all the news items, make your comment, and just go back to sleep. But before now, you know, without social media, if something is happening somewhere at the market square, at the village square, you want to go there and know what's going on. And before you know, you're part of the process. If election is going on somewhere, if you know, on election day, you want to go to the polling unit to see what's going on, and maybe in the process you participate or convince somebody to participate. But today, on election day, people just sit back at home with their phone. They monitor what is going on in Abuja, what is going on in Maiduguri. Oh, this person is winning. Oh, that person is losing. But they are just in their bedroom, the comfort of their bedroom. But without social media, generally people will go out and know what's going on. And in the process, they'll be part of the process.
So you're trying to say social media make things bad?
No, it depends on how we use it.
Okay.
It's just like your knife. You can't say the knife is bad. Because people use it for negative activities.
Okay.
No, it depends on how we use it, social media.
Okay.
Maybe the narrative should be not just to be enlightened, but go out there to be part of the process, you know.
So, Director, I have a lot of concerns, and I'll start with your being a government official and time with the government. Your duty is to enlighten Nigerians about government policies, programs, and activities. And part of that has to do with helping reorientate the minds of Nigerians concerning these policies. And for us to have a better understanding, there has to be that trust and confidence on the part of Nigerians on government. My first question, don't you think the government of Nigeria is largely responsible for voter apathy and the mindset that Nigerians have, looking at the historical records of what has happened throughout the different elections that we've had, apart from the legendary June 12 elections?
Well, I'll say yes, you have a valid point there. Because first, I'm the state director anyway, but first, I will also speak as a Nigerian.
Okay.
Because even if you look at the law setting up anyway, we are to speak for government, we are also to speak for the people. And that is why we have this responsibility to communicate to government and communicate to the people as well. Yes, the success of any election depends on all stakeholders. Government is one. The electoral management body is another. The media is,
Another.
Politicians are there. Political parties are there. And they say a chain is as strong as its weakest link. If any of these links is weak, irrespective of what NOA or any other stakeholder does, will amount to little or nothing. Yes, our job is to talk to the people, change their mindset, to participate actively in election and government activities. But there are other indices that can help the citizens move towards that direction. And some of those indices too could discourage them. One, the outcome of democracy from available data shows that democracy has not delivered much. So that could also discourage people,
Okay.
And if election is free, fair, transparent, successively, people will also be encouraged to participate massively. But where there are issues of rollback, like we are getting sometimes these days, even with the judicial pronouncement, you see that even democratic spaces are a little bit shrinking. So people could be discouraged. But in any case, we in any way cannot say because other arms of government or maybe other players are not doing their own, they are not keeping to their mandate, they are not doing what they are supposed to do, then we should also go back and sleep. We will continue to do our own job of mobilizing the people, talking to them. But the success of our job largely depends on what other arms of government, maybe what INEC would do, what the police would do, what the judiciary would do, what the politicians would do, what other even the media, because the media too is a critical stakeholder. They could disorganize the election through misinformation or disinformation and all that. They could also help the electoral process by giving accurate and timely information. So yes, our job is there, cut out for us. But of course, we are just one element in the mix. In that pot. We are just one element in the mix. So if you add too much salt in your soup, you can't say, oh, maybe the meat is bad, So that's just it.
Okay. Talking about voter apathy, there are factors that cause it. Recently, your national boss was in the office of the boss of INEC
yes.
to synergize, to see how they can improve voter education, voter confidence, voter participation. So I read to you some of the trajectory of the downward trajectory. In terms of low voter turnout, it dropped from 57.5% in 2007 to 53.7% in 2011 to 43.7% in 2015, 34.8% in 2019, and 26.9% in 2023, where only 24.9 million out of the 87.2 million PVC holders. And that speaks volumes. And then the chairman, the INEC chairman, Amuputa, calls low turnout, quote, security risk, unquote, because apathy creates a vacuum non-state actors feel. On trust deficit, INEC itself admits that it has a trust deficit, quote and unquote, and citizens believe that the system is rigged and votes don't count. Finally, underrepresented groups stay at home, youths, women, the physically challenged. How does mere voter education solve these challenges? Because before you cut, they said the best way to cut a big tree is from the roots. If you go and trim it and prune it, it will still bear more fruits.
So, in essence, your direction is that, maybe from the government first before.
I don't know, because I see for the optics, I saw the picture, I showed it to my colleague, beautiful. The pressman came, synergy, INEC, NOAA. There is voter, the government acknowledges, all stakeholders acknowledge there is voter apathy. My point is, how does this voter education drive or synergy deal with those fundamental root causes?
Okay, now, they say after God is government, so, society can move forward or backward, depending on how the government is. And again, too, one other point I want to make is that, voter education is necessary, but not sufficient to cure this problem.
Thank you for your sincerity, sir.
Yes, it is necessary, but not. And again, why do I say after God is government? If you check, you talked about, somebody talked about June 12. Somebody talked about June 12 when we had
MK Wabiola's
yes, good election.
Remember,
it was the days of MAMSA, and government should support MAMSA, show that sincerity. Now, in 1999, too, when democracy was to come in, there was general enthusiasm, plus also NOA too was just at the forefront.
Even in 2023 there was massive voter education. People were anticipating the solution of PVC.
In fact, the expectation was so high. But later the thing now dropped. See, if you check, after every election, the National Assembly will come up with new laws just to make the previous election better, either by changing voting procedures and all that. Time, money, and resources are usually spent on doing this. But ask yourself, how many times have the National Assembly, thought about the mindset of the people? No money is voted, no attention is paid to the mindset of the people, because no matter how you change the law, even if you like, bring the best beavers, bring the best machine and procedure and all that, if the mind chooses to do the wrong thing, the election will not be free and fair.
So that takes me back to another concern, institutional dysfunction. As far as Nigeria is concerned, voter education, while civil society organization and interest group can also undertake that in the interest of democracy, it comes straight from the government. My first question this time around, I'll talk about collaboration. I've covered elections for the past, 2 decades in Nigeria. And one thing that we've observed as media professionals is that INEC rarely speak to the press until during election. And after election, it is over. So voter education, we don't get to see INEC doing it. Right now in Rivers State, I think recently I heard that over 20 or more than 20,000 uncollected PVCs are still lying in waste. I personally have had to register for a new PVC last year, not because I didn't register before, but because the PVC I registered for is nowhere to be found. My personal, mine is nowhere to be found. And what was the excuse? INEC at my voting unit or my polling unit, my local government said, it wasn't sent to them. Get to the headquarters. I went to the headquarters. They said, no, we have sent it to the local government. Going back and forth between the two, and still till today, that PVC is nowhere to be found. And this is not just limited to me. There are many Nigerians who have registered for their PVC and cannot pick up those PVCs. But we are told by INEC that PVCs are lying wasted in INEC offices across Nigeria. Why has the government not been able to come out with modalities to ensure that these PVCs end up in the hands of Nigerians? That is the first question. The second question I'd like to ask, you've mentioned something that is very, very evident. The National Assembly will always vote money for legislation and all of that. But at the end of the day, if the people lack understanding of the law, there is not going to be a mind shift. But most importantly, if the people do not have confidence that the law will be implemented as stated, take for instance, Prior to the 2023 general elections, we were told electronic transmission of results was going to be implemented by INEC.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we did not see that happen. And that has significantly impacted the interest of Nigerians in the electoral process. So it goes back to institutional decay or institutional dysfunction. So how is your agency working with the relevant government agencies to remedy this situation?
Well, for your voters card and all that, I think INEC is in a better position to answer what happened. Then to your own second question of how do we collaborate with other agencies? Yes, we do. In fact, the law establishing us gave us that mandate to collaborate with every and any agency or institution in society to ensure that there is peace, progress, and development in Nigeria. Now, your colleague just reminded us that our DG was in INEC office.
Yeah,
These
for
are
collaboration.
yes, for collaboration. These are part of the engagements. But I want to tell you, INEC itself is an independent institution, and some of the institutions we are collaborating with, all of them are independent. We are not a supervisory agency to supervise and give directive. So it depends on their willingness to act based on our understanding. So if at the end of the day we collaborate with agency A and reach some kind of understanding and agreement, understanding, and tomorrow they go do something else, you can't really blame us because we don't have that coercive power to force them to act. As a matter of fact, there are some collaborations which we have gone into and we even regretted at some point, because we will go tell the people one thing and the implementing agency will turn around, do another. Now, when we have another program, back to those people, they don't take us
see us
serious.
liars.
Yes, well, even till today, our officers at the various local government are still battling with the issue of this empower and all that. People are coming to our offices, holding our LG staff, to either pay them or to redeem what they promised. So that is some of the challenges we face, because our own is just to point towards the right direction, but we do not actually implement most of these things. So after talking to the people and the agency decide to do something else, then of course we have done our own job. That blame should go to the other agency. Talking about the 2023 election, yes, mobilization was high and all that. But at the end of the day, of course, everybody expected that electronic transmission and all that will be done. But it didn't happen because of glitches, as INEC told us, At the end of the day, you will not blame NOA for not doing its job. We didn't cause the glitch. We did our own job. So some of these things, the agencies are independent. Even INEC as a body cannot be controlled by government. I mean, theoretically, theoretically, they are supposed to be independent. So whatever decision they take, they are the ones to answer for those decisions.
Now that takes me to the next critical question, funding. Because advocacy, publicity, creating awareness and being able to reach the nook and crannies of Nigerian society requires a huge amount of funding. How has the government funding to your ministry, to your agency, been like?
I am happy you asked this because in most cases, when I appear before the press, in most cases, they will just berate NOA for not doing anything, for not being visible, for being lethargic in their duties and all that. But no, they hardly ask about funding. I can tell you that the agency, as far as I know, is not properly funded to tackle these challenges. Because like you said, the issue of mobilization and orientation is just like preaching the gospel.
True.
You need resources. We have offices in all the 23 local governments in Rivers State, across the country. And this need funding. Here in Rivers State, previously the state government and the local government, they assist. Generally, the law established and encourages tripartite funding. But we know what is happening in Rivers State, for example. You know, the state government is not talking to us, despite all the effort we've made to reach them. They are not talking to us. The local government and the state government appear not to even appear to be working in sync. So everything is just at standstill. So what do? We just do the little we can, and even from the federal, funding is not coming. Even though NO is a federal agency, perhaps due to the budget challenges we have in the country.
Excuse me, sir, but I think you should not make excuses for the government. Yes, you're a government official.
Yes.
Because one of the stories we are looking at this morning is a controversy about somebody who has been parading himself, according to the government, the presidency, as a director of a government-owned agency. And he's even had a budget at the National Assembly presented and allocated to that ministry. So if somebody that the presidency is saying his ministry is fake can have his ministry being budgeted for, why can't a ministry that is recognized by the government of Nigeria be properly funded?
Well, about the other one you're talking about, well, sometimes there's a difference between appropriation and release. You can have all the money appropriated for you in the budget, but what agencies work with releases. If you don't release those funds, then there's nothing much the agencies can do. So you can see perhaps in the budget, social amount is budgeted for a ministry or an agency, but maybe as at the time you were talking, that fund had not been released. So there are two different things. As at now, I don't have any release to point out.
Please, Doctor, I would love to ask. INEC says they are going to make sure that what happened, or since the people don't trust the INEC to start with, some Nigerians, because of the the BVAS failure of 2023 and all of that. But INEC chairman unveils plan to restore faith in Nigerian elections. How is that possible when the people don't even trust in INEC anymore? What are the measures put in place?
Well, again, I think INEC is in a better place to answer this. But if I have to speak on this, I should say that based on the comments made by Nigerians, the disappointment they experienced in the last outing, perhaps INEC has realized their mistake. You cannot, they cannot give the excuse they gave the last time, in this current 2027 election. So perhaps they've perfected those technical issues that that blighted the last election. And again, this is a new chairman. So he also come with his own methodology, with his own integrity, with his own idea on how to make things better. So that what I would appeal is that Nigeria should give INEC a chance this time around to correct the mistakes they made in the past. But again, we must be vigilant because the price for liberty is vigilance. You must be vigilant. You cannot say because INEC has assured us, then you go home and sleep. You too must be vigilant to make sure that INEC, keep to their promise. Otherwise, perhaps we'll wake up again and start lamenting. So Nigerians must be vigilant. Yes, INEC must be given the chance to prove themselves. And of course, I have worked with INEC previously, and even I've had meetings with the current REC. They have promised to do the right thing, to deliver this time around.
On paper, but not reality.
We're yet to see.
Let's say on paper, but it's not reality.
They say the test of the pudding is in the eating. So let us wait till 2023. But again, if you're not ready to participate, if you do not have your voter's card, if you're not ready to be part of the process, how then do you complain?
When you have your voter's card, but yet you don't trust the process, why would you go out?
So assuming you don't have your voter's card, and at the end of the day, the process becomes trustworthy. So who votes?
You know what? Let's go to Ekiti State. We're going to see a video, and when we come back, we continue.
Okay, so while trying to sort the video out, Doctor, I'm still very concerned because in awareness creation, one of the significant aspects of it is being able to reach everybody. And when you don't have funding, you're not going to be able to reach the people. There's something that the Tinubu administration did when he came on board. Nigerians all across board received text messages on their phones, on their different lines, calling for one Nigeria, calling for peaceful coexistence, and asking Nigerians to put away politicking and embrace national unity. That is something that should come from your office. Now, for the administration of Tinubu to be able to do that, it means that the president knows the importance of reaching out to every Nigerian with government policies. Which also means, regardless of what is happening at the state level, if the governor and the local government, chairman are failing, the presidency still has the power to ensure that these people act according to plan. So, the gap in funding, what is your agency doing to ensure that the present administration under Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows that the agency is not properly funded to deliver on its core mandate? And if you're not properly funded to deliver on your core mandate, then the much talked about drive to let Nigerians know what is happening from the government coffers is just about photo ops and not action.
Well, when you talk about funding, the federal government do not fund the state directorates directly. So we don't have information concerning funding. That is the duty of those in Abuja, the DG, and the minister. They work on that. And I can assure you too that we've been assured, yes, we've been informed that actions are being taken concerning funding and all that. Because we're approaching the election period, and of course, NOA has to do its job. So we're expecting that maybe anytime from now we'll get funding to do our job. But apart from that, the officers of NOA are very, very patriotic. I can tell you that, including myself seated here, because I use part of my own income to do some of the funding for our activities. So also the COMOs at the local government areas. I must say this because Nigerians too need to know. And apart from that, we do collaboration with other agencies and organizations. So we use whatever platform we have to promote our programs. And what we're doing here is we're using your platform now to also reach out to Nigerians. So also we use various media outlets, use social groups when they are meeting. We use different groups. We interact with them, trade union and all that. That is the way we can reach out to them. At least if we don't have the funding right now, we'll ride on the back of our partners to reach out to as many Nigerians as we can.
Okay, so
but hopefully, when the funding comes, then of course we'll intensify our activities.
Well, I don't know if this is within your scope to answer, but I'm going to ask, and I'll leave you with the liberty to decide whether to respond or not. Now, while your agency is saddled with the responsibility of speaking to Nigerians about government policies, do you also tell politicians and people in government what they need to do to help your work to be less stressful? For instance, politicians have been accused of weaponizing poverty. You would rarely see politicians go to their respective constituencies until it's time for election. And then when it's time for election, that is when we see palliative rice, we see cartons of noodles, we see all sorts of things being given as incentives to bribe and buy the heart of Nigerians. And at the end of the day, when Nigerians want to put every government agency, ministry, department, they put you as 12 and a whole, which means you're birds of the same feather. So agencies like yourself, who is doing what needs to be done in the right way that needs to be done, get attacked for not doing your job. And taking your mind back to something you highlighted, your personnel's being attacked for something that is not their responsibility to do for Nigerians, but because they were on the front line of saying, look, this is what the government is doing. This is what the government intends to do. At the end of the day, the government failed, but the people did not see the government. They saw the representative of the government, which is your job exposes you to danger and risks. Have you, or does your agency also engage the government to say, look, for our job to be done right, we also have to be sincere in what we say to Nigerians and what we do for Nigerians?
That's a very good question. I want to tell you that if you go to most communities in Nigeria, you hardly one of the agencies you see, or a personnel you see, is the NOA, either going to talk to people or meet traditional ruler or communicate with one community or the other. So that keeps us, that exposes us, to so many things. Like I told you about Empower, there are many other things too. We sometimes we even go for just mere political sensitization, and we're harassed. Like during the local government election, last local government election, I know the humiliation our officers suffered, but we're just out there to do a statutory job anyway. Now, apart from talking to people, yes, our job also include taking feedbacks from the people, reporting to government what the people are feeling, what we see, what we observe, and we do that every 2 weeks through what we call Pulse of the Nation report. And we also convey our own concern, our own expectations, our own challenges to government. But our own is to write the report. The man at the other end, his own job is to implement or do the needful. We can't write the report, we can't complain and solve it at the same time. If we have the power to solve the problem, then we shouldn't be complaining to anybody in the first place. So our own is to get the complaints from the people, because it is stated there in the Enabling Act, get feedback from the people, from all agencies of government. Even the police can even complain to us. We'll send it to the federal government. Custom, anybody can complain to us. The people can complain to us, what you feel about government policies and programs. Our job is to take it to Abuja. It's not our job to solve the problem, because if we can solve it, then
you
of
would
course
have to take it to another person.
So that's the thing. These jobs are cut out, Your own is to take this table to this place. Then the other person's job is to sit on the table.
Okay, let's go to Ekiti State, where we see the governor of Ekiti, under the umbrella of APC, throwing bread on the streets.
Hello, sir.
And yet people will say, trust the process, it's going to work, get your PVC, go out there and vote. When some politicians prey on vulnerable Nigerians that are hungry, and this way they coerce them to vote for them. So, Doctor, what would you say concerning this video? This is coming from Ekiti State, under the umbrella of APC.
Well, I don't think that is the governor anyway. But whoever that did that, it is wrong generally.
Okay.
I mean,
but that's a governor picture on top of the vehicle, or rather
because it's dehumanizing,
Okay.
Even the law France at dehumanizing Nigerians.
Okay.
They are not animals, So when you treat your citizens this way, what do you expect others to? Maybe that's why people treat us anyhow elsewhere. Because when you treat your citizens in this manner, then of course it speaks volume. This is wrong. And as an agency, we'll condemn this kind of action, because it's dehumanizing, really.
So how then will Nigeria trust the process that next election is going to be free and fair, like they keep saying.
Well, the truth of the matter is that power is not gotten on a platter of gold. Like Marx would say, the history of mankind is the history of class struggle. You must struggle for power. If the politicians are busy bringing all sorts of tactics to retain power, the people too should come up with new tactics to ensure that they grab power. It's a question of class struggle. If you just let go, then of course you continue to be a slave in your own land. But if you rise up, just check the history of all the developed nations of this world. It was not government that gave them liberty, freedom, and the development we are saying. It is the people that rose at some point. In England, it happened. In France, during the Louis XIV or so, when the people rose to. So the people must rise at some point. Say, look, we must take back our nation. We must stand for justice. The right people must lead us. Election must, our vote must count. We are not talking about revolution here, but a democratic process. And the Constitution has provided that democratic process to make changes through your ballot.
Okay.
Through your ballot. Nobody in government, people in government, those who are enjoying power already, will not just want to let go now. They will not give it to you like that.
That's the power of greed, then.
No, anywhere, people, people want to retain power, but in Africa, sometimes we adopt crude method, to retain power, which is the difference there, But Nigerians must rise up to the occasion through their votes and say, no, we want Mr. A to retain power, or we want Mr. B to take over power. That is the essence of, and of course we here in Nigeria, we see election or the electoral process as just an event. Everybody is waiting for either January, then we'll come out and vote. There are many more activities and processes that are behind the election itself, and some of us don't follow through. We only wait because sometimes the preparation itself can can give you a picture of the outcome of the election itself.
I hear.
Do you understand?
All right, Mr. M.I. Now, from the video that was shown, it shows that most politicians prey on vulnerable Nigerians that are hungry. Now, it has gone from rice, noodles, plantain to bread. What's your take on that?
One, every man has a price.
Ooh.
Every shoe has a size. What is your price? What you offer to people also speaks volume of the value you place on them.
I hear.
And that's why part of the criticism to what our president's wife said about the kuli kuli and
corn.
It is not bad in itself. I have a friend, a childhood friend, a peer, a contemporary. His mother fried akara. The father was a chemist operator and trained all her children. They're all graduates. There's money in it. But in terms of looking at what adds value to people and what should make people's life better, you look at sustainable development or sustainable human capacity development strategies. And akara will be the least of them. So in terms of trying to woo people, trying to attract people, influence people, and you throw bread, it tells you the value. But beyond that, there are two things. One is for someone to call you a name. Another is for you to accept that name. In the Bible, when Jacob wrestled with the angel, and he said, "What is your name?" He said, "Jacob." He said, "No, your name will be changed to Israel because you have wrestled with God and man and you have overcome." He changed his name. Jabez fought for his change of his name. And he said, "Oh, God bless me and advance." I said, "Change my name." And so Nigerians must rise up and they say, "No, I am not a non-entity. I am not a slave." If we could do it to the white man, we told the white man, "Leave us." Blacks went to America, Europe, and said, "No, we must be treated like fellow human beings." Did they get it? They get it.
They did.
Like the politicians often say, power is not given, you take it. It is inherent in everyone. Authority is reposed. We all have power, but sometimes when you have power and you keep it, like one of our guests said yesterday, it becomes what they call a potential energy. When you exercise it, it becomes kinetic. If you don't exercise it, and like in physics, they said a body does not move unless force is applied to it. So Nigerians have to wake up. That's where voter education. But the point is, are they striking the right chords? Okay, Nigerians must rise up. They've done it in Ghana, in some other parts of Nigeria. They went to share rice, and they came out and said, "Take your rice and leave this place." We are not rice. We want something more substantial, more significant, more
Not
impactful.
rice, not bread.
Not rice, not bread. If you in China, there's a aphorism that says, if you teach a man, if you give a man fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to fish,
Feed him
for life. We want a country that our leadership is about management of our resources. A leadership that will come and say, look, this is Oyo State, this is River State. These are your potentials. The way the private man, I listened to Dangote yesterday talking to a journalist, and what the things he told, he was revealing from the question, they are not rocket science. So if one man, Dangote, is showing it, you look at your resources. Dangote say he's driven by what people need every day. It's just a simple philosophy. Need, wants, and demand is money. Every governor, local government chairman, as you wake up, what do Nigerians need every day? What do we have to fulfill it? What do we lack and we need from partnership? That's what every private man does. I have land. Okay, you have money. This one has technology. Let's come together. Guy, let's open one. You understand? And you see one business and they become rich. Because society, so long as society has need, wants, demand, is money. But our leaders, the problem is they overplay politics and leave governance. That's why they miss it. They can do it. They can, but I don't know what gets into them. They can do it. If and that's where we have to. So it's for the electorate. Well, the day we wake up and say enough is enough.
I think I'll
Charlie Boy said.
A different part. Yes, the government has a lot, politicians rather, in this context. But I'm disappointed because at the end of the day, I would say Nigerians are not angry enough.
I agree. That's enough.
They are
enough.
not
You want them
intentional
to take to the streets?
It's not about taking to the streets.
Okay.
The only way for us to have a revolution is at the ballot.
Okay.
That's the only way. And for us to have that revolution, Nigerians have to realize that they deserve more than bags of rice or custard pail of rice or sachets of bottled water or cartons of noodles to go vote for one greedy politician who will only be in your face within the period of election, and after that he's nowhere to be found. And at the end of the day, while he's nowhere to be found, you had finished the carton of Indomie or noodles, that you were given, or you had finished the half custard pail of rice that you were given, and you are now hungry without anywhere to turn to. Whereas if you had thought about yourself, if we collectively think about ourselves and know that it is better for us to have a source where we can all go and fish individually based on our own abilities and come back with something for ourselves and our families, it would be better for each and every one of us. So the blame for me this morning goes to Nigerians who have failed to understand that the power lies in our hands, and if we don't use it, we are not going to actualize the changes that we are needing. And unfortunately, I don't think Nigerians are ready for it. Perhaps we're ready in 2023, but then, like our guest said, if you did something once and you didn't achieve the result, even in our personal life, do we stop? We don't stop. Thomas Edison didn't end up giving us the light bulb and electricity and what we have today because he tried once and stopped. He tried for 1,000 times. We are told.
I have a question for Oga.
Was able to achieve it at the 1,001 time. And we need to be consistent.
Even politically, there's a U.S. president that tried and tried, then finally got.
He got something.
So we have to try again too.
I have a question for Oga.
All right.
3 big democracies in the world who also have done elections that are highly rated: India, United States, Brazil. India's population is over 1.4 billion people. America is over 300 plus. Brazil is over 200 million. 300 million, 200 million. Now, I asked a question. Well, why did they succeed? Now, India's election, 950 million people registered to vote, which is like almost 4 times of Nigeria's population. 66.1% turned out, which is like 646.4 million people voted, the biggest election ever run. And within the shortest period of time, the results were out. I also asked the question why it worked. The specialists, they say logistics and at scale. The EMV and VVPA electronic voting strategy that they adopted, and then voter education, inclusivity, and so on. In United States, 160 million people, voters participated, and 67 turned up. 160 million people registered, 67% turned up. What were the strategies? Decentralized but standardized strategy, early voting, mail voting, risk limitation and audit, local officials as trust anchors, communication, and so on. I want to put forward about 6 proposals and ask you if it will work. 1, because I've also asked the experts, shouldn't Nigeria do all our elections in one day? Why? Because in Nigeria, it is deliberately infused and intentional and intended. They do it tier by tier. So they do the first election, maybe presidency. Once the president wins, every other from the state to the local government, they want to align.
The bandwagon effect.
You must follow Oga at the top. But if they do it on the same day, everybody will fight for it. It's like everybody thrown to the sea, swim. Nobody will not think of saving this man first. I'll think of saving myself. And it has been done in other countries. Number 2, for them to be able to do that, every voter party will be on one pad, which is simple. The technology is there. We have different apps on one pad. So if I want for president, I choose. For governor, I choose. Local government chairman, I choose. House of Reps, I choose. And the result goes. And everything is displayed electronically to reduce human interference. Because part of the problem is in when you vote with, like Brazil, they were limited 100%. They limited paper. It is in the process of human interference on that paper. That's why we have issues still today. Even the last one that last election they just did in the runoff elections, even the one they did in the River State, the same thing. Where people come in and they say go to court. Number 3, early and diaspora voting. I was in Anambra in 2019. There were reports of people who died coming to vote, some going back. There were reports of people who lost. They shut down their business because they have to come to their locale to vote. They lost their goods because of the person was into frozen foods. So they had power issues.
Went off and
went back. People encounter losses and waste a very expensive man work hour just to go and vote. They shut down like on a day, Saturday, no business. Is that not a cake? In countries like America, where our president, France, where our president goes to for medical treatment, they don't shut down a day to vote. UK, they don't shut down a day. The Britons colonized us. Why can't we learn that? Diaspora voting, it has been suggested even in this amendment. Also, the interference of security operatives. They come in because of when the crowds and the population come in to interfere with the voting process, then security. But if everybody does, wherever you are, you vote at your time, and there'll be less responsibility for the electorate. And then the cost of voting, the timely release of money, like the INEC boss has said, all the monies we requested for, they've not given us. So how do you want elections to go on? So, sir, if they do these things, will our elections not improve in our voter participation? Are we not going to improve in voter trust? rather than belaboring Noah, because you will say, I will say it, belaboring Noah, like you said, your own is to find out and report. And it becomes a mere rhetoric.
Yeah, I agree with you. See, there's no point reinventing the wheel. The best way to run election in this country, the models are available across the globe.
Thank you, sir.
There's no point reinventing anything.
So you a saint? This morning you're telling us the truth. You're telling us the truth.
No, first I told you that one, I'm a Nigerian.
Okay.
Two, the job of NOA is two ways: talk to the people, talk to government.
Talk to government.
So I'm within the mandate of NOA. Our job is to talk to government too. Talk to the people too as well. So that is why sometimes we have what is called role conflict. You don't know where to even tilt again. So, but I'm beginning to also think that the problem in this country is that we are pretending to be asleep.
Why do you say so?
Because it is easier to wake a man who is deeply asleep than to wake a man who is pretending to be asleep.
Ooh.
Yes, because we all know how to conduct free, fair, credible election. But because of interest here and there.
And that is greed.
Well, interest.
It is greed.
Okay, yes. Because of that greed or interest, people pretend not to know the right thing to do.
See?
I hear you.
That is just it. Because for one, as a nation, if we do an election one day, it will save us cost. We spend so much on election. We shut down businesses, shut down the economy for days because of election. Spend so much money on election. And again, if we are sincere to do the right thing, after every election cycle, we start immediately. Put the right laws in place, put the right institutions in place, and by the time in the next election, we'll come out with a better result. But in this case, we'll just wait few days or few months to election. Everybody start running around. Oh, let us amend the law. Let us do this. Let us release money. Let us do that. So it becomes an event instead of a process. So I agree with you. Bigger nations like India, they have succeeded in doing a free fair election. And again, too, one other thing we also have to look at is the political structure itself. Like in India, I think it's the parliamentary system also they are running. In this case where there's one man called president with overwhelming, overwhelming influence across the country. Wherever he swings to, everybody just want to swing along that. But if it's like parliamentary system, perhaps your own constituency rolling it out, another man somewhere rolling it out, everybody's rolling out. Then at the end of the day, the party aggregates and choose their leader who will be their prime minister. Perhaps this acrimony will somehow reduce. But this idea of doing the presidential election, then when somebody wins, everybody now fall apart. I mean, it's not right if you ask me, because before now, what we used to know is that the electoral bodies start with local government election
First.
to test run the process, so that at least if it fails a 1 or 2 or 3 local governments, it's not a national calamity. It's not a national calamity. From local government election, you fine tune to House of Assembly and state elections. Then finally you go to the big one, presidential election. In that case, if you fail, we know that deliberately you just wanted to fail. Because we have tested the process and seen how it goes. So I think if INEC would adopt this idea of start small, then go big, it will help. Yes,
big.
Start small, maybe with a House of Assembly election. Then, of course, go to governorship and.
Go ahead.
You've talked about National Assembly. Now, shouldn't it? The proposed. I'm looking at the proposed budget. It's about 900 billion naira. 900 billion naira. Shouldn't the National Assembly be protecting us, especially knowing that the funds are scarce? Okay, so to see this way we are going, we don't even have the money, and it's more expensive, and then for the best interest of the people, or is it that they are just rubber stamped, which they don't want to acknowledge?
Well, the issue of rubber stamp, I'm not in the National Assembly to know whether they are or not.
Don't worry.
But generally, the presidential system of government is different from that of parliament. In parliamentary, I think they say it is collective responsibility. In the presidential, you're supposed to act individually. But the Nigerian presidential system is becoming more parliamentary, where everybody now to party like
one dictator.
No, it's not supposed to be like that. In presidential election, you're independent more or less. It is not a question of collective responsibility. So I think either the people should be more engaging with their MPs.
Representatives.
Yes, representatives. But that is another tragedy which we are having in Nigeria, because the representative and the people do not have meeting points. The only meeting point is election day. After that, you don't see them again.
Exactly.
Otherwise, even the situation we had in Rivers State, or we're having in Rivers State, shouldn't have happened. If the House of Assembly, if maybe the members were in touch with their people, go back in a town hall meeting, say, look, want to impeach the governor or want to do this, what is your opinion about it? If the people agree, then of course you go ahead and do it. Then you know that the state as a whole is a support.
Accepted.
Yes. If the people say no, allow it, don't do it, then you just do the way the people. But in this case, you can see that the people are not even in touch with the people, with their
representative.
Their representative. So you may be correct that even those in the National Assembly are not even protecting our interests. If they do, they'll do this in a way that will favor the people. In a way that will favor the people. But this time around, what they do is they do things that will favor their party, not the people. They are not there to represent their parties, but to represent their people.
Not their party, but their people.
Yes, the party is just a vehicle to take you there to represent your people.
So is it right, sir, as a national values proponent, for a party to take its slogan and literally replace the national anthem and sing it in a national assembly that represents various parties, various ethnic groups, various interest groups, a national party that is Nigerian, not party, to say on your mandate we shall stand in an oval, highly respected, revered assembly? Is it a good example?
You see, there are many things that we take for granted, in Nigeria. And sometimes when National Orientation Agency talks about that, people will say, we have more serious issues, and you're talking about this little issue. But, in crime, there's what they call the broken glass theory, If you don't tackle crime, little crime, and before it swallows up a society. So if you don't set things right, people act to right, that what you just said is wrong. The National Assembly is a house for all Nigerians, So what is recognized there is the national flag, the national anthem. These are the things that are recognized here, nothing more, nothing less. At the state too, the same thing. And it come to the state level, you see a governor, seated. You see a national flag one side, then you see his party flag the other side. It is wrong. What you should have is the state flag. Not the not your party flag. Your party is just a vehicle to take you there.
And after that,
and in some cases, you even see the party flag hoisted maybe there at the government house.
Government office.
It is wrong. That office is not for APC, PDP, or whichever party. It is for the people of that state.
Per time.
Do you understand? Now go to local government. Nearly all the local government in Rivers State, you see party flag hoisted at the secretariat. As if the party built the secretariat. These are all illegal, over politicking. We know that party A brought you there, but you don't need to rob it. After all, the bar who is also not from your party has access to that, has the right to come there and take some services. So what is the point putting your party flag in just in the premise of that secretariat? Nearly all governors, they do that. Just check them. You see their party flag and you see the national flag, That is wrong. If the state has a flag, the state flag should be on your left, and then the national flag should be on your right.
The only thing they need orientation.
But you can only give orientation to the man you see, the man you
is willing to accept.
Willing to accept, And I can tell you that, in South, seeing the governors are like God. You don't see them easily. But in the North, they're accessible. That's one thing. And when you talk about orientation and the work of NOA and indeed NGOs are difficult in the South.
Why so?
I don't know. Maybe either because there's so much money here that the governors and the local government just think they are too big to listen to anything. Therefore the people have this sense of mentality that they are taking their oil. What are you coming to tell them? Do you understand? But if you go to the north, if you want to talk to the governor, he'll be there.
They are accessible.
They're accessible.
The same outside this country.
No,
You can say minister,
this is
mayor booking an appointment, even a local council, a mayor. Mayor appoint, you walk in.
I can tell you that I've written to even River State government several as NOA. They have not replied with one letter.
I've been a victim.
I mean, reply one letter. I'm not saying
Not
see
saying, but
the
just
man.
reply.
Reply one. Acknowledge that we received. None. It was the sole administrator.
Okay.
That embraced. Maybe because of the peculiar nature of
Peculiar years of his
service.
even sent an aid to NOA too. That, but a democratically elected government, we have written
Difficult.
letters. Not one has been replied. So how do you even talk to such people?
What's their confidence? Do you think that they've lost touch about accounting to the people? They are more, so long as their godfather, their so-called protector, is happy with them, maybe the president, or at the local level, maybe the governor, anybody can go to hell. Because that's what I say. Because if they know that they're accountable to the people, whatever they do, they'll say, this person may, okay? Like the way sometimes security men are principal of the press, or when they see NUG or press, they are because they know that you will blow it to the world.
Yes.
So maybe if they know that they're accountable to the people, they will start behaving themselves. But they know that so long as whether you like it or not, so long as Mr. President is happy, you can go to hell.
You're right. See, if we can get our electoral process correct, we'll have solved 80% of Nigeria's problem.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's move over
it.
to the story where the presidency refutes claim on Ambassador Adeyemi.
Guy told me, their office, right?
And there you have it, the video where Professor Adeyemi is saying, I got elected, this is my seat, and this Gbajabiamila plays a role in it. And the funny thing is, the name of his ministry is in the budget. But yet the presidency is saying, I don't know you. So how do we solve this issue? What is playing? Is it politics or normal drama?
Well, I'm just seeing this. I just saw this, I think, yesterday or so, just on social media, and I was trying to authenticate whether it is some AI thing or drama.
It was necessary to do that.
I don't see this drama. I just wanted to know.
Because actually, when I look through the whole thing, it is very difficult to know actually what to believe. But, well, as an employee of the federal government, the presidency said it's a non-existent agency. And that is where I live.
And his name is in the budget.
Okay.
In the budget. Then the National Assembly, that blame should go to the National Assembly squarely. Because, see, the job of the National Assembly is oversight. Make laws, represent your people, and oversight the executive. You see, they say nobody is too good to be given absolute power. That's why you have the National Assembly. Because if they give you absolute, you can just do anything you like with it, So because we know that we are humans. The drafters of the Constitution created the National Assembly so that even what the executive could not see, the National Assembly, with all nearly 300 and something here and 109 in the Senate, should be able to spot it out. Somebody should be able to spot it out at committee level to say, this agency, when was it created, what are the functions and all that, but nobody asks those questions. So I think the National Assembly should answer that.
Okay, so I'm going to play the devil advocate this morning, Doctor or Director, because if we want to push the blame on the National Assembly, then we are exonerating the presidency. Femi Gbajabiamila is the chief of staff to Mr. President as we speak, and putting aside his history, the history of his allegations when it has to do with corruption from within and outside Nigeria, let's look at some of the things that have been highlighted by the presidency. That an agency which the presidency says is fake has an account as a federal government agency with the Central Bank of Nigeria, is operating within the government-owned premises, the Federal Secretariat. Let's look at some of the requirements. The requirement to open an account as a federal agency, the federal government, ministries, departments, and agencies are mandated by the Treasury Single Account TSA policy to domicile their accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria. These accounts are opened centrally through the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, rather than through direct application by individual agencies to the CBN. Now, to establish or link a dedicated account with the CBN, the said agency of government must obtain official approval. The MDA must first secure a formal mandate or approval from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation to open the account, contact the Banking Supervision Department. The Office of the Accountant General of the Federation will coordinate directly with the CBN's Banking Supervision Department to create the necessary sub-accounts linked to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Submit required documentation. The applying agency will be required to provide the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation and the CBN with official letter of request stating the purpose of the account, enabling act or legal instrument establishing the MDA, mandate of authorized signatories, usually directors or accounting officers, bank verification numbers, BVN, and national identification numbers for all approved signatories, integration with Remita. Once approved, the account is integrated into the CBN approved e-collection platform such as Remita for revenue generation and disbursement processes. That is one. Requirement to have an office space within the Federal Secretariat complex. To be located at the Federal Secretariat complex in Abuja, an entity must be an officially recognized federal ministry, department, or agency, MDA. Office locations and allocation, leasing, or space utilization are strictly administered by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation and require formal government approval. Now, commercial renting by private businesses is not allowed. That is why we have people not doing their businesses within the Federal Secretariat. When you look at all of this put together, how is it that a fake government agency is operating under a government-owned or government-owned office establishment or office space?
Don't forget to add since 2025.
Exactly. And then is also having its agency listed in the budget. Whether those funds were released or not is not an issue. These are the questions Nigerians are asking. And then to further worsen the situation is the fact that Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila has been involved in different scandals bordering on bribery and allegation, dating back to his stay outside Nigeria and even his stay at the National Assembly. So how do we balance this? Because some Nigerians are saying this is a case of falling out with each other, because Prince Adeyemi has said he gave Femi Gbajabiamila 400 million and then he demanded for an extra 200 million, and then he said he was not going to give the 200 million and a 46 to 47% of what comes into the agency, which is why they now have the fallout. So which of these? Yes,
With Adeyemi.
Okay.
He said it in his interview with our sister agency. Yes, with Shegun.
And he said you can take me to court. Let's prove that.
Okay.
That's the statement.
The Matthew himself said it.
He said it live.
Okay.
So how do we balance this? The government is saying one thing, the individual is saying another thing. And when you look at the government provision for some of the things that he has achieved, nobody can say from the Federal Secretariat that he's not been seeing the foreigners. And then he even has the ability to summon other departmental heads within the government, and yet it's fake.
So how is it fake?
Well, in everything, this is a very strange situation. If you ask me,
Very strange times.
It looks like a movie to me.
That's why I told you I had to fact check, properly whether it was an AI generated stuff or something like that. But indeed, it's not AI from. It is strange, and I don't know the right word to use now. But no matter what, there's what they call fair hearing. Mr. Matthew has said his own. I think the chief of staff is the one at the center for all this.
He is.
So he too need to also put out his own defense. Then at the end of the day, maybe an impartial third party should just look at it and come up with the true position of things.
Director, he has put up his defense.
Okay, yes.
That he's being impersonated. His signatures were forged, and that Prince Adeyemi, deceived the different institutions.
Just one man.
One man is able to deceive the CBN, is able to deceive the Office of the Accountant General, is able to deceive government agencies, ministries, and departments.
He should be a
One man.
superhero then.
Sir, shouldn't the EFCCs and other relevant economic and financial crimes security architecture in Nigeria be the way they swooped on Showore, the way they swoop on defenseless citizens? They're swooping in now to pick. In fact, shouldn't Gbajamemila step down first for inquiry in public service? Step down first so that you don't use your power to influence anybody. Step aside, and then they do, in fact, do a forensic. Because, like you said, it's strange. Even invite foreign intelligence organizations, because of course this has to do with international relations, and that these things from the renting to registration to CBN to presentation of budget, was it done by spirits or human beings? Shouldn't the government be picking up people at one point or the other and show to Nigerians? Because I can't trust the system, and you can't force me to trust the system when you have proven things that doubt my intelligence to say what is happening here. So shouldn't they be doing that now?
Well, I think first, we talked about the chief of staff stepping down. I think that rests with the president. If the president so desire, you should ask him to step down. Let me look into this matter. But right now, we've not seen that, which means the president has not asked him to step down. This is not even an EFCC matter per se, but DSS matter, because it borders on national security. It is.
But it's also fraud. You can talk about money
from EFCC, DSS investigation. Then they will isolate the financial aspect, and EFCC will come. This, So, but this is. We are not even talking about money here. We are talking about national image, security, because if this is true, then of course, even internationally,
means that we are porous.
Yes, our image is at stake, and all these things are happening within the executive arm. So the executive too cannot
be exonerated.
But they can also be the judge in their matter.
Exactly.
So I should think that maybe this is a matter for either the National Assembly to look. I mean, set up, if it's an ad hoc committee, to look into this matter. A broad-based committee, so that we can get to the root of this, because this can destroy a nation, actually.
So the National Assembly is standing on the mandate?
Well,
my question is, if Adeyemi stepped down, who is going to benefit from it?
If Adeyemi steps down?
Yeah.
Well, if his agency is fake, then the nation benefits from it.
And if his agency is not fake, they just want to bring him down, who will benefit?
I don't know who will benefit. But I think Nigeria will benefit. If it is a fake agency, then of course Nigeria will benefit. But if at the end of the day he steps down, then they appoint somebody again
into that same
then
agency.
Of course that raises even more questions. That will raise more questions and even make government look more stupid, really. So I think government will handle it in a way that will satisfy all parties, so that because it's like a joke, you know, if a whole federal government of Nigeria being so deceived. No, there are too many questions to be asked in this matter, really.
One more question. We're talking about Bajabi allegedly accused or accused of demanding for what you would call bribe or whatever in public service. How? Because this is a common thing, the percentage sharing, and it undermines the purpose of that budget, that money. So if you say 1 billion naira for a project, you have valued and estimated and know that this money will be enough, and then someone is saying my share is 20%. That is about 200 million naira out of that. You're shortchanging. The people suffer, and that's one of the reasons alluded to why several public projects are abandoned a little, because the money's doled out. There was an era, a military took over from the civilians. I think, if I remember well, it was Abacha or something. It was reported to be said that when the military set up an inquiry and a task force to recover all abandoned government projects, there certain persons were picked up, and they said, look, I shared the money with a line of people, and it fell back on the government's table, and they were like, if we shoot ourselves on the foot. How can this be? You are an experienced civil servant and public servant. What I know, there are financial systems, there are financial laws in public service. How can it be practically checked, like done in civilized climes, to reduce this giving my share from the money, and you should change the people?
Well, this one is generally the public service rule, which governs everybody who works for government. This is gross misconduct, which can even lead to immediate dismissal.
But there must be evidence.
Generally, you know, but that is if proved. But since there's a prima facie case established, you know, the best thing is either the president suspend the chief of staff, or the chief of staff can say, okay, let me, in the interest of justice, go down.
Step aside.
So that this matter is
After
resolved.
You did it to better I do.
You know, then at the end of the day, maybe he can step back if
sounds like clean.
But that brings me to this question. In Nigeria today, has any politician stepped down for any reason?
Because we do more of politics than administration. Ooh. That's the problem. We do more of politics, you know, provided you're part of the cartel, if you like, or you're part of the the group, the elite, or
the ruling party.
The ruling, So you otherwise, if we follow administration strictly, you need to at least excuse yourself from the system for the time being. But because everything is politics in Nigeria, then of course everything rests with the president to decide. If he decides which way it goes, you know, because for now we are not security agencies or agents to know the truth of the matter. It is the DSS and the police that will do the investigation, come up, and then Nigerians will know the true nature of crime, if there's any. But for now, we can only speculate based on what we're hearing. You know.
All right, let's go to South Africa, where it's no longer the case of Nigeria and South Africa and Ghana must go. It's now South Africa versus South Africa. Now, it's no longer Ghana must go, it's no longer Nigeria must go, it's now South Africans, the black versus the white. Now, what they did, they took the fight down to the residential area where the white are living, saying you must leave, and the white had to respond by shooting. And this is what we're facing today.
Well, that is the logic of violence. You know, the logic of violence is that violence begets violence. You know, because sometimes they say violence is like a crack in a biscuit. You don't even know where it starts and ends. You know, originally you think that it will end in a way that you desire, but before you know it, it will spill out of hand. And you know, and of course, it's just like targeting any group. When you target a group, when you eliminate that group, you start looking for another person to target, just like what happened during the days of the Niger Delta problem. The whites were the targets, but when the whites ran away, they started targeting the blacks. Started targeting, So then we are clapping. Oh,
they must go. Yes, we
this
want
and
to put
that.
my economy back.
But at the end of the day, we were all victims. Excuse me. So it is with this South African thing. Nigeria perhaps was their target. Because for me, I think Nigeria was the target, They just threw in the other African countries just to make it look broad-based, So now the blacks are out. South Africans are fighting themselves now. Because that's the way it's going to be. That energy, you must dissipate it. You must look for somewhere else to channel that energy. And this will not help South Africa because at the end of the day, the same blacks that started this whole thing may end up suffering. Because the whites will withdraw support now from their brothers elsewhere, the international community and all that. And either sanctions will start coming in or some other isolation will start coming in. These same blacks will start looking out for their fellow blacks again.
To support them.
So it becomes a circle. They say he who sows the wind reap the wild wind. That is what is happening to South Africa.
But who is going to support them when they virtually chase everyone out? I bring it back to you, Francis. I saw a video yesterday where someone from the East was complaining that he's living in South Africa with his wife and his children, and he left about 80% of his wealth all in South Africa because he was investing there, and he's going back home hungry. He doesn't know what Nigeria holds for him. What will you say concerning that?
Well, this morning I think last night I saw the Nigerian federal government directive to people who are returnees from South Africa to list out their assets and what they've left behind, taking a cue from what we've stated here, that it's about time Nigeria as a country demand compensation from the South African government. Whether or not the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration will be able to follow through with that and actually be able to get some measure of relief for Nigerians is a question only time will tell. But this is not a one or isolated case scenario. We've seen Nigerians suffer, build up their life in South Africa, get destroyed, get looted, and they come back and start from nothing. Majority of people leaving, not just Nigerians, that's their flight. That's the case they'll find themselves in. But then, I've always also been an advocate for people who are outside Nigeria to find a way to have something happening in Nigeria. You cannot be outside your country, you're making millions, and you're not also setting up a business in your own country. Because as much as we don't pray for such scenarios unforeseen circumstances like what is happening in South Africa, you're also obligated to contribute to building your own economy by what God has given to you.
True.
So if Nigerians outside had committed to that, scenarios like this would not be a problem. You back up and leave. You know that you have something to fall back on. Whether or not the Nigerian government is responsible enough to seek redress for you. It's a sad narrative, but I hope that some of us who are blessed to get outside the country think in both directions. Invest where you are, but also invest heavily back at home.
Okay, Emma, I'll come to you. This looks like a man who goes out there to fetch an ant-infested firewood back home. What will happen to him? Now, this is white versus black South Africans. What do you think will happen to South African economy in the next 5 years?
Obviously, no man is an island. That has been established here. Nobody. No matter what you have, you need resources. You need people. Okay? Even if you are self-contented, there will be a point you also have to relate with your neighbors.
Aye.
True.
If you have advantage, it's natural principle and law. I like it. God made it in the way that no matter what you have at all points, that you must depend on someone for something else.
One is an
So
island.
if you have an economy that may be doing well now, and remember that economy was built not just by the so-called core South Africans, the Zulus, the Xhosas, the Bantus, and so on, the Swanas. No. In fact, the whites that came in fundamentally added to refining South Africa to what it is. So between that 1948 to 1994, the apartheid era, while they were fighting, the whites actually developed, laid the foundation where they are learning from. Because from what I see now, they are suffering from poverty mentality.
They're not learning from it.
They're not learned.
They're not
So
learning.
which means even if the whites didn't come from every nook and cranny to develop South Africa, they would have been crude.
Exactly.
Because if you watch some of their historic
Themselves.
films, yes, they will be cannibals, eating each other. You can imagine what they are doing now.
Even with the presence of the world.
Even the present civilization of the world, okay? And I see it as a weakness of leadership. And the economy will, because once that goes, you will hear what will happen to South Africa. But when they started feeling it, because countries will start shutting down their whatever transactions, economic transactions they have with them, whatever resources they were gaining from them, and so on. And it will affect the economy. If it can happen to Russia, it can happen to Iran. Iran with so much oil. America crippled them by saying, don't patronize, don't do business with them again. You need international business to survive. It will affect them. In the next 5 years, it will affect them. And I'm so disappointed highly in this day and age. You're literally eating, this is dog eat dog. That's what they are doing.
Rat race. Doctor, I'd like to ask, if you're in the position to advise the President, Simira Fosa, what will you say to him? Given the fact that he's just there, he hasn't come out to say anything, and this is now a country versus a country, brother fighting brother. What will be your advice to him?
Well, I will say that even the President himself, is behind all this. This is
by action or inaction.
State sponsors terrorism. If you have illegal immigrants in your there's laws and agencies to deal with that. Not asking criminals to harm down people, and you're just there as the president, do nothing about it. Even police protecting these same people. So it's purely a state sponsors terrorism. So whatever he gets now, he started it himself. So for now, the only thing he can do is to call those talks back, call them to order, and maybe have a national dialogue over this matter. Reach out to other African nations and try to do damage control, because the situation is getting bad now. The only thing he can do is to reach out to others and maybe make amends.
Remember, Trump accused Ramaphosa when he visited him in the White House, and it was like embarrassing. But now it is obvious, because Trump, they get first-hand information. Then it wasn't this obvious, and it was as if he was embarrassing him. People said, look at how he belittled him. He said, no, this is what you're doing. This foreign intelligence, they have information to the T.
More than
in your own country, more than you do. So they started getting information. He was embarrassed. He was shocked when Trump told him this was happening in your country. Now you see.
Well, Trump has always been my guy. He's always been speaking the way he likes.
Thank you very much.
Say no more nice guy.
No more nice guy.
He's a nice guy, but he doesn't sugarcoat.
No, he said he doesn't want to be nice guy anymore.
He's a nice guy.
He tells you as it is.
He's that blunt.
No, but that's the way it is, because as a leader, he must be courageous at some point,
All right, thank you very much. With this, we'll call it the wrap. But before we go, Mr. Francis, what is your parting word?
Well, I'll speak to Nigerians this morning and every other day. It is about time for us to seek a revolution at the ballot. And it starts with you knowing your worth as a Nigerian and knowing that the resources that God has blessed us with is our collective resources. And we owe the exclusive right to choose the right man to help us manage these resources, including ourselves. And only by getting that right can we change the narrative for our collective prosperity.
All right, I hear you. Over to you, MI. Your parting words.
Okay, like I started by saying, silence is a choice. Silence also speaks loud. But you know what? When you say it doesn't concern me, or concern me in our local parlance, whatever they like, let them do. Or even if I vote, my vote won't count. It's a lie. Why do they price your votes if it doesn't count? Okay, you've allowed the thieves of our votes and our political development to have the louder voice. The choice is yours. 2027 and beyond. Do you want your voice to be heard in a positive and legitimate way? The choice is yours.
And we've been doing this with Dr. Edward, and he's also the State Director NORA, so inclusive, and we've been doing educational talk this morning. Thank you very much, Doctor, for coming. Please, what's your parting word before we call it a wrap?
Thank you so much. Well, 2027 is another year to conduct referendum. It is a year for Nigerians to choose which way to go. A peaceful, prosperous Nigeria, or a country characterized with impunity, corruption, and bad governance. If you do not vote, then you have outsourced your sovereignty to somebody whose interests may not align with yours. Neutrality is not the answer. go and vote come 2027.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Nigeria is not unstable, but in your hands. My name is Bariswa Christian Winger. This is CEMTV Surgery, where we'll bring the world and Nigeria to your doorstep. Have a beautiful day.
In-depth analysis and dissection of news that matters. It's today's News Surgery on the CEMTV